Well, it's Labor Day, but the work is just beginning for the people of Houston and the Gulf region following Hurricane Harvey. And while the fun and games went on elsewhere, the Houston teams adjusted. The Astros had a series moved to St. Petersburg, Florida, then returned home this weekend. Texas A&M's campus is just 100 miles away, played last night, and the Texans' home preseason matchup with the Cowboys was moved to Dallas, then canceled so they could go back to their families. Meantime, defensive lineman J.J. Watt is using social media and his name for something other than reeling in soup commercials. He's helping raise millions of dollars, and he's to be applauded for it. You're probably familiar with the Astros and J.J. Watt, but it's unlikely you've ever heard of Stacy Lewis, 32-year-old professional golfer. Grew up in the Woodlands, that's a suburb outside of Houston. This past week, the LPGA Tour arrived in Portland, Oregon, and before the tournament, Lewis, whose husband is the women's golf coach at the University of Houston and surprised her by showing up, said she'd donate this week's earnings to relief efforts. She'd won 11 times, but her last victory was 3 years ago. So after shooting that final round 3 under 69 yesterday, the one-stroke win nets her a $195,000 first-place check and karma that you simply don't question. You just go with it. For some, of course, normal won't return for years, if ever. But Lewis was fortunate. Her home and her parents' place, who lived nearby, escaped any damage. But she says the money will go a long way in helping others rebuild, and not just her check. Her sponsor, KPMG, matched the donation. Then Marathon Petroleum, another backer, jumped in with $1 million. So nearly $1.5 million because she used her platform and a few clutch putts for something other than look at me. Everyone's looking at her now, though. And all this for a golfer who'd waited 3 long years to get back to the top of a Sunday leaderboard, and wouldn't you know it, it was this Sunday. The two-time major champ had gone 83 tournaments with 12 second-place finishes. Yeah, the sports gods do have a funny way of evening out the ledger, because her 12th win just became her signature win. Some 2,200 miles away from home, from the water, from the destruction, Stacy Lewis showed up what it means to be a champion. Her victory wasn't just a win for Houston, it was a win for everyone. On this Labor Day holiday weekend, it turned out to be much more than a great final round of golf. In the end, it became a labor of love.